our panel, and as I call their name, they're going to come on up to the front. We're going to begin with Ms. Mindy Mets. She's Nuclear Workforce Initiative Program Manager at SRS Community Reuse Organization. Dr. Daren Senn, Director of the Ruth Science Education Center at USC Aiken. Dr. Timmons, Dean of the College of Science and Engineering at USC Aiken. Dr. Mahan, President of Aiken Technical College. And Dr. Sean Alford, Superintendent, Aiken County Public Schools. Let's give them all a round of applause. And each presenter is going to give you about a 5-minute summary of what they have planned in this Education Workforce Initiative. And we're going to go down the line, and then we'll open up the floor for questions.
Thank you, Tara, and thank you, everyone, for this opportunity today, for our sponsors as well. Let's see if we can get us going here. There we go. So our topic today of education and industry partnerships is particularly timely. We have an awful lot of transition and change and opportunity going on in our region right now. So let me just try something. How many people here know somebody who in the last year has retired or is planning to, maybe in the next? All right. Point name. There's a transition happening in our region. And that's something that we at the Savannah River Site Community Reuse Organization, or SRS CRO, think a lot about. We do a lot of different things, but in a nutshell, for those of you who aren't familiar with us, we're a private nonprofit organization that focuses on economic diversification. And that when we focus in a region that is defined up here, it's Georgia and South Carolina, 5 counties. Aiken, Allendale, and Barnwell, and Richmond and Columbia counties. Now we have many different initiatives, and one of ours is related to workforce. In 2015, we commissioned a study that covered these 4 areas, the 4 big areas that are in our region for workforce: nuclear, manufacturing, cyber and IT, and healthcare or medical. And some information from that's very relevant to our conversation today. One of them that I want to share is that our workforce is regional. The people that live in these counties are not bound by those counties in terms of where they live. So I'm sure you all work with someone who's from Georgia or from a different county, and we all travel across those regions. So when we're thinking about our partnerships with education and with industry, it's worthwhile to consider that those partnerships can expand beyond the counties in which we live, because our workforce expands beyond those counties. Another thing to point out is the number that came out of that study, and that snapshot in time over the period showed about 37,000 job openings anticipated. That's a pretty real number from what we see and learn about. These are job openings for industries that already exist. This doesn't include expansions, it doesn't include new business. And so what we see from that is there are a lot of middle and low skill jobs, and the light blue lines that are there show the openings that are anticipated, and those are largely due to retirements. So about 80% of that 37,000 number is due to retirements in our region. There are several other findings, and you see those listed here, but the one that I want to draw attention to is the bottom one, because that's something else that came out of the study. That in many cases, our local K-12 students are not choosing career paths that match regional needs. And there's probably a lot of reasons for that, but one of them may be that they're not familiar with the opportunities, and that's another reason why education and industry partnerships really make a difference. That's something we spend a lot of time on through our Nuclear Workforce Initiative. We have partners that we work with in the nuclear realm, and there's some things that we know as fact that are happening. So the workforce transition is very real. It's not just in a study. If we look at 2016 numbers that we have, we know that right around 1,400 people were hired in the nuclear industry. That's not just Savannah River Site. That also reflects Plant Vogtle as well. And we know that those numbers are kind of looking kind of similar for 2017 as well. The attrition is happening largely due to retirement. And what we know is that that's probably going to continue in some realm, or at least that's what's anticipated right now. There are a lot of opportunities for people in many different career fields, but technicians and engineers in a variety of areas are particularly in demand. So what are we doing about it? Well, through our organization, we have a variety of programs that we're involved with partners in these different industries. And in the nuclear realm, one of the things that we have is a grant program, and we call it Workforce Opportunities in Regional Careers. This program involves 5 different academic institutions across the 2-state area. And the big goal is to try to help more students in our region move into developing the skills that are needed for the jobs that are in our region. There are 22 different programs that are identified, and there are scholarships associated with those in our community. To date, this program started at about last year, middle of 2016, and there are about 250 scholarships that have been awarded to students in our region already through this. It's funded from the U.S. Department of Energy and the National Nuclear Security Administration at Savannah River Site. And we partner with the employers at Savannah River Site as well to help bridge that gap of communication that might exist, or maybe not gap, but maybe strengthen the communication that exists between our educators and our employers in this realm. This is a look right here at the academic partners that are involved in that program, and they all handle the scholarships through their own institutions. We do have a little booth set up over there, and we'll be happy to share some more information with you about that if you're interested. Let me just point out very quickly as well that, I know it's not news to the folks here, but just think about it for a minute. The impact of the Savannah River Site is tremendous on our economy, as we know. And this transition that's happening is very real, because the average age at Savannah River Site hovers somewhere around 50, and we know that there are roughly 11,000 people that work at the site. So as that change is happening, we're talking about different generation of workers, new needs in the community. And so we have a study that came out this year, the Economic Impact Study and Workforce Transition. It's pictured here. You can read the full study on our website that's there. But we also have at our table some summaries. And if nothing else, if you've never understood all the different organizations at Savannah River Site, the front graphic will help you understand that. So anyway, we hope that's some valuable information for you as well. Let me just point out, in summary here, that workforce transition is happening obviously not just in the nuclear realm. The numbers that you see up here, these are some government statistics, and they're endless if you go look at them. The numbers are large across the nation, and it's happening in our community as well. The workforce is also aging in the manufacturing industry, and the jobs are changing. Cybersecurity and all the cyber jobs are working. People are trying to understand those and how to prepare for them. Healthcare continues to grow significantly in terms of opportunities. And who's filling them? It's our millennials that are moving into those positions. And sometimes their needs are different, and sometimes the communication is changing. And so what we hear time and time again with all the different industries that we work with is everyone wants experience. I think there used to be a commercial on that one, but everybody wants experience. And we also know that these are the employees that are in demand, and it doesn't matter what industry they're in. They want people that show up on time, follow instructions, pass those background checks, all of those things, and have the skills that are needed. Well, how do we do that? The only way to really do that is combine education and industry partnerships so that students have a realistic expectation of what's ahead. And those take time to develop, and they also bear fruit when they are sustained. So with that, let me pass that on to Dr. Senn.
Thank you, Mindy. So I am the director of the Ruth Patrick Science Education Center, and it's really appropriate for us to be a part of this because the Ruth Patrick Science Education Center began as a partnership. And it was a partnership between the university, local businesses, and local schools. The story goes that our chancellor at that time, the superintendent of schools at that time, and some community leaders were at a luncheon perhaps like this, and together, it was right after a report came out how the United States was falling behind in other countries in producing science and mathematics trained people for the workforce. So the story goes that they scribbled on a napkin, the plans for the Ruth Patrick Science Education Center. And some 30 years later, we have a great center now available to us that will, I think, do a great job at infusing a love for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So these things around the side, evidently there's an auto forward on that first slide. Sorry about that. But the things around the side are the different aspects of the
Science
Ruth
and
Patrick
technology.
Science Education Center. BEEP is the Bridgestone Environmental Education Program. SEAT is the Center of Excellence in Educational Technology. The next one, the Center of Excellence in Middle School Interdisciplinary Strategies for Teaching. The Planetarium and Observatory, hopefully you have taken advantage of coming to see some of those. Professional learning is our outreach to teachers to help them be prepared even better to work with our students in the area. Special programs is our category to fit things that don't fit anywhere else. Student programs are where we bring students to the Ruth Patrick Center or to other aspects and give them opportunities for engaging hands-on learning. And the science, technology, and enrichment program is STEP, and then also the traveling science program. And now I'll stop going back and forth. Next slide. So the first one is our Bridgestone Environmental Education Program. This is a partnership that we have with the Bridgestone companies, the two plants, PSR and LTR and OR. So those are in Aiken County, and Bridgestone is a company that is very environmentally responsible. And part of that is to provide educational opportunities. So they work with us and they sponsor us. We have the connections to get the students out there. We have the expertise with the faculty and the staff to do the instruction. And so we bring students out to their two plants and do environmental activities with them. Another partnership that is similar is the Science and Technology Enrichment Program. This program has been going on, it's had a name change in between, but it's been going on for about 20 years. Evidently there is an auto forward on all the slides. And right now this has two sites, the Silver Bluff Audubon Center and out at the Savannah River Site. And the Savannah River Site is sponsored by Savannah River Nuclear Solutions, one of the sponsors of our program here today. And again, a partnership, we provide the expertise, the personnel to go out there and bring the students out, and we do environmental programs with them out at the Savannah River Site. A new thing that we have, almost like a commercial I suppose, is we have just upgraded our planetarium. How many have been to the planetarium at USC Aiken? Great. So put your hands on. How many are going to go now that you've heard of it? So if you've been to our other planetarium, it's been open for 22 years, and can you imagine, for those of you who might be old enough, to use computers 22, 25 years ago? Remember those small screens with the text that was kind of greenish color? That was our planetarium. It was very exciting at the time, but as you know, things have changed over time, and 22 years of technology have brought many improvements. So we have now this full color, full dome system that is very exciting to us. And for those who were working in the planetarium, when they first saw this new technology on the dome that we've been looking at for 22 years, it almost brought tears to our eyes. So we're very excited about it and hope that you'll come by and share in that excitement. And then the final thing that I wanted to mention as far as partnerships is the university is partnering with Aiken County Public Schools to have the Scholars Academy that will be starting next fall. There has been much about that in the newspapers. There was a presentation last night for interested students and their parents. And so we're excited about that, and that it will be housed at the Ruth Patrick Science Education Center when it begins next fall. And I'll turn it over to Daren.
Gary, I actually had another remote and I was the one forwarding your slide.
Oh,
So, I'm Daren Timmons. I'm from the University of South Carolina at Aiken, just around the corner at USCA. And I don't know how much you know about our institution. 3,500 students. We are a comprehensive university. We offer 4-year degrees and a few master's level degrees. We're considering a doctorate, a nurse practitioner as well, some of the works. So there's a lot of things going on. We are separate, distinct from USC Columbia, but part of the same system, system. So I am the Dean of Sciences and Engineering. I wanted to talk to you about that. I know you can't see this picture so well. Can we turn the lights down a little bit? Is it possible? No? Video won't see. Okay. So when I arrived here about 1.5 years ago, I wondered, does partnership, is that like code for give money? And of course the answer is yes. But it actually means a whole lot more than that. And I wanted to show you a few examples of the kind of partnerships that we have ongoing in the College of Sciences and Engineering. The first one on the top left, this one, Gary.
I have the remote now.
I think you're done. Mine just came up. So.
These guys, these three guys in the middle are part of our first class of engineers who will be graduating in May, Industrial Process Engineering. And they are standing there with two workers from Augusta Concrete Block Company, just around the corner. Maybe you've been on site there with Jim Farmer. And when I was visiting with Jim, I said, we've got engineers looking for a capstone project. They're doing their senior year, they need to be involved in local business, they need to get their hands dirty. What better place than a concrete company to do that? So they spend several hours each week throughout their senior year out at Jim's facility, and they are not making concrete. They're standing underneath a big mixer and watching the concrete come off, but they're exploring the efficiency of the system. They want to help find ways to improve the effectiveness, the layout, and whole industrial setup. What ways can they find to improve this local industry? Jim reports that they're actually giving him homework to do based on their findings. I don't do homework anymore. What is with the students? Leave me alone. He's very excited about the contributions that they're doing. And that was just, hey Jim, you got space? Can you take on a few students, a few hours a week, and let them into your business? And let's see what they can come up with that will help you. So there's an opportunity for you perhaps as well. This one is another team of our engineers, Industrial Process Engineering. They're at Novatech in Aiken, and they're a control systems group. And they are learning to build the control systems, modules connected to the software that Novatech runs. A lot of this technology is out at the site, and our students are constructing and learning to run these control modules. In the same way, Novatech has donated to USC Aiken their proprietary software that allows our junior level students in their laboratory on campus to be able to start to learn that process. So we've got students on their site, and we've got them invested here in our degree in industrial process engineering. Here's a picture of some of our 25 work scholarship recipients. Thank you, Mindy. She talked about that already. Each of them received $3,000 to continue on in their studies in science, in environmental remediation, in engineering, in mathematics, computer science, and in chemistry. And all of them are represented here. Now, Michelle Harmon is professor of biology and director of our environmental remediation and restoration program, has a history of Savannah River National Lab work. And she's done a great job of taking students and teaching them how to make an impact in the local environment. Some of that is through our relationship with the scholarship with the Department of Energy, and some of that is actually being out in the field, testing water quality and finding ways to improve that. We're working with Archroma. It's a chemical corporation in Martin, South Carolina. They make dyes, huge vats of chemical dyes for fabrics and papers and things like that. And they shared some of their content, technology, chemicals with us. And one of our professors and one of our senior students is doing a capstone project on campus. So we don't travel out there, and they make limited travel this direction. And so we're working on projects related to chemistry that is of interest to that particular company, Archroma. And Katie actually received a scholarship from Savannah River National Lab just recently. So we have a variety of other examples here. We have our exercise sports science students working to learn to manage and test physical health, fitness, and participate perhaps in our cardiac rehab program that we have a collaboration with Aiken Regional just across the way. One of our psychology professors is interested in occupational therapy and physical therapy, and so we're exploring opportunities at Walton Rehab Hospital in downtown Augusta. This is Eric Crossan, the CEO there. So we visited his site recently and saw some of their technologies and looking for ways for our students to be involved in service learning, right? Using our time to help the patients that are there. Just this week we had it does involve partnerships and involve donations. We had a very large donation, just a portion from SRNS, and these are some of our engineering students here. They're going to benefit from that involvement, so to establish professorships. So we have students working in local businesses. We have local businesses spending time on our campus. We have donations. We have just agreements. Hey, how can we work together? One of the local businesses we met with recently said, well, how do you get involved in this sort of stuff? How can we get a seat at the table? It just requires a relationship. We just need to say, hey, we're interested. And USC Aiken says, hey, we're interested. Look, there's a spot and slide for you to get as well. So really, what ways can we be involved? We've already heard the good case for we should be involved. So we're wide open. We love to be partnering together for the good of our students, for the good of your businesses. I have a whole table here of people just excited to talk to you about what's going on in their area in education and arts, humanities, social sciences, and our library, and our advancement office as well. Internships. Coordinator Catherine, raise your hand for internships. Thank you very much.
Well, good afternoon. I'm Mahan. I'm the president of Aiken Technical College. And I can say pretty seriously, if it weren't for business and industry, Aiken Technical College wouldn't exist. That's the bottom line. You talk about partnership. We need you. In a lot of ways, we believe that we provide a lot of benefit to the business and industries in the area. When the technical college system was set up in 1962, most of the workforce in South Carolina were either farmers or textile workers. There was very little in high-tech careers. And they changed that, and Greenville Tech was established in 1962. Aiken Tech, the youngest of the 16 technical colleges, came along in 1972. So for 45 years, we've been working to sort of help build Aiken County. We are unique in that we have a one-county service area. We are here for Aiken County and Aiken County alone. Many of the other technical colleges have to serve 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 counties. So we're yours, you're ours. This year, in my first year, we did our mission statement and vision statement and came up with our new strategic plan, which, for the record, is over there. If you want to go get one on your way out the door, please help yourself. And our new mission is basically, look, we're an open door, two-year comprehensive institution that is here for the citizens of Greater Aiken County to provide them with educational and workforce development opportunities. Plain and simple. That's why we exist. So our goal is to reach those goals of the communities and also provide the leaders of the industries with their key needs, and that is that employable, talented workforce. Building the pipeline. Our programs follow a whole bunch of different areas: business, computer technology, health sciences, manufacturing, and nuclear. Every last one of those credentials up there, whether it's a 2-semester certificate, 1-year diploma, a 2-year degree, we don't have unless we have proven there is a need for that particular credential in Aiken County. We can't run programs that don't produce graduates who can first do the jobs they need to do, but also get the jobs they need to get. So we have to have a constant sort of hand on the pulse of Aiken County and the businesses and industries to say, what skills do you need in order to have a successful worker and employee? Very important here, high school partnerships. Dual enrollment, dual credit are very key things here, because what we have to do, and Mindy alluded to this, is when people go to college and they think college, they still think 4-year. They still think Clemson. They still think Carolina. I've said we need to change what it means to go to college. That doesn't mean 4-year college is not in part of the mix, but the 2-year college can be that first step, because we serve the population of students who are first-generation college, may be living in grinding poverty, and may not have the confidence to feel that it can achieve a credential and be successful. They have to start where they are, we meet them where they are, and then we get them where they need to be. Now, our industrial partners are this: tech scholars, apprenticeships, co-ops, and internships. The Tech Scholar program puts people in the workforce while they're going to school and they're earning a wage. The apprenticeship program through Apprenticeship Carolina is the same thing. It's a Department of Labor approved program that gets people into a program, gets them into the workforce. They are earning a scalable wage and they're getting their hands-on practical skills to do the job. So in this instance, we're seeing opportunities for young people to get into the jobs before they really are officially out of school. Nothing is more frustrating for somebody to go through a credential, get to the end of it, and realize that's not what they want to do. This way, they find out if they want to do it while they're doing it and going to school at the same time. Work, as was alluded to, is a big part of this. We use this a lot for the nuclear fundamentals programs. We do a lot of things with the radiation protection programs, industrial maintenance. You know what one of our biggest programs is right now? I don't think it's covered by this, but it is a good story. Welding. We can't keep people in our welding program. They get a job before they finish their credential, and that hurts our graduation rate, which USC Aiken's always glad to point out.
Who, me?
But,
Give me the clicker.
but the key thing is they're getting jobs, and that's what we want to do. And so what we've got here is we've got to keep an eye on all these things. On the advisory boards, and some of you may be on our advisory boards. If you're not, we may want you there. You tell us how our curriculum is going. Our employees, are the ones we graduating, doing what you need them to do. We're looking at new curriculum development right now, and that's a DACM for cybersecurity and physical therapy assisting. We have to keep looking to the next level. And cybersecurity, everybody's running around talking about that. That came out of nowhere. 5, 10 years ago, people were kind of talking about it, but now here it is. And it's up to us to say, okay, not only what are those jobs going to be, how do we get people into them? And we have to, at our level, I have to predict the jobs that are going to be 5, 10, 20 years down the road. How do I know that? That's my little Methodist minister chime about for my 5 minutes. So we also do non-credit. You don't have to go through a curriculum program, but we do have a group of training business and development departments that allow for incumbent worker training. We allow for people to go back to school sort of short term without having to leave their jobs. And we make those programs specifically to the needs of the industry. If you want a work keys assessment, we put it together. If you need somebody to have soft skills training, how to answer the phone, how to greet customers, we can do that. And so we do it specific to the industries, and we can do it in a very quick turnaround time. This is our rapid response. If you have a situation in the employer area, that's what I call triage, you need immediate help, we can be there. We do have an EMT program, just for the record, so it's the same basic concept. We can do it for business and industry. We work with vocational rehabilitation. We work with people who are getting their GREs, although that is done through the school district, or GEDs. And then we help create the path for them to come to us. We work with the Lower Savannah Council on Governments, and we deal with enterprise zones, which is another element of the technical college system that allows for employers who qualify to get up to $1,000 back for each dollar they create, or $1 for $1.50 they have spent on retraining their employees. So there are a lot of things that are out there, and I think sometimes the technical college system can be the best kept secret in the state. We're right here, and you're lucky to have a school district that's very innovative. You've got a 4-year university, and you've got a 2-year technical college, all within 10 minutes of this place. So this is a unique place, a unique opportunity for us when it comes to development of the workforce. Where else would you want to be but Aiken County right now? So thank you very much. I feel like I've been Sean Alford's opening act, so here is Sean Alford.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure to wrap up. And everyone set the stage very well. Because what we do as a public school district really ties in to what every speaker has shared today. You're going to see some things that overlap. It's very hard to get everything you want to get in a period of 5 to 7 minutes, so we gave you a takeaway. You have at your place, at your table, a little brochure that summarizes one specific initiative that we are now moving forward in collaboration with business and industry across the county. And I'm going to give you an overview of that today. What you see here is right on that one handout. Excuse me. As a school district, we are in a period of evolution as well. We're moving from a focus of being product-driven to solution-driven. So you say, okay, now help me understand that in a school district. Well, for many, many years, our goal has been to help students attain that credential, and that's a diploma. That's a product. But many times that diploma does not represent a solution to the community's needs, particularly as it relates to workforce development, the needs of job creators, business, and industry. So as an organization, we really have to now evolve and transform and make sure that we are emphasizing for every graduate not only the attainment of that diploma, but also the guarantee that they finish, they complete with a set of employable skills, therefore becoming a solution to the community's needs. Mindy set the stage very well. In our circles, we talk about the silver tsunami. And again, we've got a massive number, percentage of individuals who are going to retire here in the next 5 years. But you know, we talk about that all the time in our circles. We get together, we talk about it. We get together, we talk about it. We'll eat, get together, and we'll talk about it. But for a very long time, we all had, or we have, workforce development, economic development as a part of our mission. And individually, we're really doing really good things. I'd give us an A for effort. You can see evidence every day of great things happening in our county individually. But at some point, we really stop to think, how can we do this together? How can we bring that force for good so that we can proactively address what we know is coming in this pending service tsunami? And we believe as a school district that it really was grounded and rooted in information. If you remember the last bullet on one of Mindy's slides, she talked about where local students or students from our local area were not being able to matriculate and come back prepared for local jobs. You remember that point? Absolutely correct. For us, the delivery of information to those 4 critical sectors you see on the slide will help to address that issue. So the concept of Aiken Works really was born out of that need to work collaboratively and share information with critical stakeholders so that we can prepare the appropriate students and I would say employee candidates for the work needs in our community. So, they're just 2 simple messages, and you see it right there on the front of that handout. We want every student and family to understand that there are multiple pathways to post-secondary success. Multiple pathways. But also, we're not going to stop granting diplomas. The diploma that's a part of our experience. But we also want to make sure that you have a set of skills that someone is willing to pay you for. That's how we talk to students, and that's what we say to them. We want to make sure that you can support a family. Critical intersections for us here in these 4 cohorts of individuals. Parents and adult workers. Just to make a point here. We knew we were missing a strong intersection for education at the dinner table every evening. We can have students and we can take them on work-based experiences. We can take them out to visit the Bridgestone plant, take them to visit NTU, get them excited about opportunities. And they came home for dinner and sat with mom and dad and said, guess what I did today? Guess what I learned today? Do you know as a welder I could make $65,000, $70,000 a year to start? How do you think that conversation went at the dinner table? Particularly for the parents that aren't familiar with what welders do and what they can make. I don't know about you, but I'm a Citadel graduate, and all of my children, particularly my sons, came home in a Citadel onesie. That's how I brought them home from the hospital. Conditioned them from the first day, that 4-year institution. Many of us have waited for that acceptance letter in the mailbox. We're in a period now of a new paradigm where we have to help students understand, and this is how I say it, Forrest, this is how I say it, Gary and the folks from USCA. Every student needs some college. Period. Every student needs some college. Some will need the 4-year degree to pursue what they like to do. Some will need the 2-year. Some may need 2 courses. Some may go directly from graduation and the employer pays for them to go back for the training end. Every student needs some college. So we take particular care to educate those 4 sectors and emphasize these 4 things. There are outstanding and noble vocational opportunities in our region in these areas. Are those familiar, Mindy? Absolutely.
familiar.
You saw them already. So we've got great alignment now across our community, business and industry, and we're excited about the alignment. It's very important. So if we're going to communicate to students, we can't communicate to them like we communicate to parents. Totally different perspectives. I'll be kind to say that. So we have a student campaign as well that encourages them to be relevant. Be relevant in your life choices. And we're educating them mainly through social media about opportunities, not only here in our region, but opportunities for education, opportunities for work and for education. But we're also now being able to gain great traction in partnership with members of the community, business, and industry. Great time to acknowledge Lafayette Stewart back there, who's our work-based learning coordinator and actually has an opportunity to establish purposefully relationships with business and industry in the community, provide apprenticeships, internships, job shadowing opportunities. Just announced yesterday the addition of some apprenticeships with Security Federal Bank as they open the new branch in Ridge Spring. So you'll see this message. Unfortunately, the movie won't work today. You'll have to go to the movies to see it. But we're sharing this message in every conduit we possibly can. Movie theaters, television commercials. We actually had a commercial run the other night during Thursday Night Football. I was kind of excited to see it. The internet, the road tour, we went out to the football games across the county. We'll be at basketball games as well. Giving parents, again, an opportunity to learn about these wonderful opportunities in our community. Has anybody seen this billboard right down the road? What message are we trying to get across here? Anybody want to volunteer? We want students learning and earning. Learning and earning. Really want to sing the praises of community and business leaders for supporting this effort. This is a picture of Vance Reynolds, and if you know Vance, this is a perfect representation of who he is as an individual. He came down and shot a 60-second commercial on behalf of the initiative. Stuart McBain has also done the same. Monica Key from Bridgestone has done the same as well. And these are the commercials that we're running on prime time. Vance's message was, hey, there are multiple things you can do in the health field. Don't let it scare you off. Come check it out. Learn more about it. Stuart's message was very clear, and it really didn't have much to do about energy. He says, you know what, we're hiring a ton of people, but we can't hire you if you can't pass your background check. And that's a very important message for people to know. It is. So you'll see us sharing that message. And again, the opportunity is there for you all as community members, but also parents, friends of parents, aunts, uncles, making sure students know there are multiple pathways to post-secondary success. And then also graduates have to have, in addition to that diploma, a set of employable skills. It's always a pleasure to serve. If you all do not have anything going on tonight on your social calendar, please skip Jeopardy. Come join us at the town hall meeting tonight at North Augusta High School. We've got great information to share. Thanks so much.
For questions, anyone want to know how you can make this work in your business? Going once? Going twice? Are you full? Good lunch, right? Well, let's give our panel another round of applause. In one of the slides that Dr. Alford showed, a partnership with the North Augusta Chamber, and we will be working with Lafayette, who's also part of our ambassador program, and reaching our chamber members to find out how we can create that pipeline for our students into industry. So I will be calling on you if I haven't already done so, because what we're trying to do through the chamber is identify businesses, not necessarily a STEM business, but any business that has an opportunity for a student to learn. So I've reached out to general directors. It really doesn't matter. Carolina Cover Tech. There are a lot of occupations that students are interested in that does not necessarily require a STEM interest. So we have to find the students where they are and help build them from there. So that's what we're going to try to do through our chamber membership, is find those businesses that have opportunities and work with them in developing a program to help build our workforce in this area. So if you're interested, if you don't really know, if it's something that you can do, let us know. We'll help you develop that program. We'll look at the occupations that you have, figure out what the curriculum needs to be, and we'll go from there. If you can't afford to do it, there's an opportunity through the Lower Savannah Council of Governments that will help fund that for you if it's something that we feel will work and really benefit the student as well as yourself. So don't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone and create these opportunities for our students. Christian, did you have,
I do have a question.
introduce yourself, Christian.
Hi. I work for the Northwestern Star. I'm a sales rep. But I heard a question mentioned, and I just want to hear you elaborate a little bit more. You mentioned you can't talk to the students the same way you talk to the parents, and that's absolutely right. What would be some suggested ideas for, this Aiken works this direction you're going in? You can't get past the middleman and woman here with the kids. So what's next? That makes sense?
Engagement. How to engage the parent? Is that
Yes,
the question? How to
that's
engage the
it.
parent?
As a school district, we do that often. We try to engage parents through their students. A lot of that is through performances. You know, if you want to get a parent in school, let the kid act, play, sing, draw, mom and dad will come. So many times now, we're working on sharing with students, particularly through our guidance counselors and CDFs as well, getting them engaged, getting students to now spread that message and understand. And in that campaign, the Be Relevant campaign, we're really pushing information to them via Instagram and Twitter. That's primarily the student platforms that, from our surveys, they say they utilize. And in partnership with the South Company marketing firm, we're really trying to, again, push information to kids so that they can hopefully share that information with parents as well. We're really in the infancy stages in that regard. I believe our next step will be to engage clubs and activities at those schools, engage the Beta Club, the National Honor Society, and student groups to help embrace and move components of that message forward as well.
Thank you.
Sean, could I add something?
Please.
I'd like, if I could, I'd add something to that. We do the same thing with the technical college system. My parents, and to sell it to the parents, you need to tell them this. My mom and dad always said the biggest pay raise they got was when I got off their insurance and had my own job. And so if you can have a young man or young woman, at 18, 19 years old, getting a job that has benefits, then they're off mom and dad's dime. That makes mom and dad take notice. And it goes back to the stackable credential idea. They start with whatever they can get from the high school, get into the workforce, come to us, go to USC Aiken. But if they have a good employer, that employer will pay for them to go back to school. So with all the debt we hear about with education, if somebody else is willing to pay it, why would you not let them? You got to be generous like that. Let somebody else pay for your education. So the parents, sometimes it's the monetary aspect of it because it's not cheap and it helps out in the long term. So I thought I'd just add that.
Appreciate it.
No worries.